Coming into a 100-year-old company is incredibly exciting and incredibly scary at the same time. If a company has been around that long, it means that they must have done some things right. And the problem is, often, it's not because you've done the right things in the past that this guarantees your future. You have to constantly reinvent yourself. And we've been very good at reinventing ourselves. This is why we're still alive today. If we were not able to reinvent ourselves, nobody would be talking about us. We would be like some companies that have now disappeared, some iconic names in the movie industry. You can think of tens, if not hundreds of companies that were great names in the 30s, 40s, even 10 years ago, and that no longer exists. So how could you remain? You remain by changing the services you provide, changing the technology you work with, bringing new ideas to the table. You have to do this in a collaborative way, and you have to have dialogue. You have to have dialogue with your customers, with your partners, but also with your employees. You know, for us, the biggest shock as a company was, in the last 3 years, was the shutdown of photochemical film print. Iconic. This is what this company was built on. This was the history of the company. The fact that this had not been profitable for 10 years, the fact that there had been zero technological progress in this for probably 25 years, was almost not relevant. It was what Technicolor was all about. Stopping it turned out to be an incredibly difficult decision, but at the same time, one that allowed us to basically go into new avenues, suddenly embrace a new phase of life, embrace the digital world. I like to think that we ended our film cycle and we started our digital cycle. We moved into visual effects, that's a great example, which would never have been possible outside the digital world. We seized a new opportunity, a market that did not exist 30 years ago. So how do you do that? You've got to be very respectful of tradition. It's really important. It's important to our employees. It's important to our customers and to our partners. Yet, you got to absolutely embrace change. You know, the history of companies in the last 100 years is littered with companies that just failed to evolve, failed to adapt to changing environments in every industry. And that's the most important thing you have to realize about industry is our industry is driven by technological change. Technology changes every day. And if you're not willing to adapt with it and to change with it, well, you're doomed to become irrelevant. I mean, and that's really the biggest fear one should have, is to become irrelevant. And so how do you fight that? Well, you do new things, you try new projects, you invest in little startups, in internal startups, you let people try new things, and that's how you make it. That's how we started in visual effects. Our digital cinema services started when a group of people, 10 years ago had an idea and started developing something. You got to seed this, and you got to be willing to accept that not everything is going to work, sometimes that you're too late already, or sometimes that the market isn't there. But if you don't try all these things, if you're not willing to take risks, well, you'll never bring innovation to the table, because you've got to be willing to take risks.